Alert Weather Extra starts now.
And starting off with showing this is a new video of the tornado that moved through the Huntsville area last night. This is from Colin Landry Powers at Barron, who provides our weather systems. He was able to record this and send this to us. This came from his web camera, his security camera at his home.
And welcome into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Right now, Tania, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch, and you and I have been tracking some developments, and you could tell it just felt so hot and humid out there today.
Yeah, it really has. It's been such a sticky, humid day, so we knew that by this afternoon, when those temperatures went up west, that those storms were likely going to be popping off for us this evening.
So let's talk about this evening, and I know all these videos, we're seeing a lot that happened North Alabama last night. We're not expecting that level of tornado threat.
No, maybe a few more severe storms throughout the night tonight, some strong storms, some hail, gusty winds as our main impact. So just stay with us throughout the night tonight. We'll be here monitoring it, but you have some other stuff to show us right now, right?
Well, we're going to go right now where we do have these storms developing. This is a live look from Shelby County. This is in Helena, where we have storms redeveloping. We had one severe storm move through. It's now pushing down towards Lay Lake, and storms have been all over. Shelby County has been the hot spot so far as most of the storms. There's a new warning, though, that's over Pickens County we're going to go to. There's one of our new Sky Vision cameras at Bluff Park Diner, where it's 80 degrees right now, and you can see there a mostly cloudy sky, and we're looking at that severe thunderstorm watch. Let's go in here for a closer view on this. It's going to be in effect until 11 o'clock for this evening. Now, it's a severe thunderstorm watch. I know it's not a tornado watch, but just keep in mind, severe storms are what produce tornadoes. So that does not mean that the tornado threat is totally zero. We still need to keep a watch. So far, the storms haven't tried to rotate, so that's a good sign. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's been certainly a system that's had a bad past, a very volatile history with all those warnings last night. But so far, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings again I was talking about. And notice the temperatures here. I want to point out to the northeast, see how we're in the low 70s? That's from that morning round of storms. And we talked about this yesterday. Places like Gaston get some of that rain early in the day. That's a good thing. We finally got some rain in some of these areas to the east. But now some of those storms trying to develop a little bit closer to Pell City. This is where that boundary has set up, dividing the very hot, unstable, humid air from where it's a little bit cooler to the north, and this is going to keep those storms going past sunset time. But you can look at this, and there's a little curl there to the reflectivity signature. We still need to keep a watch on this one that's tracking to the south of Columbiana there and around Pell City. This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock over into West Alabama, that storm that's now crossing into Pickens County, but it is pouring, probably some small hail falling right now, if not quarter size, around places like Ethelsville. And it looks like this cell in North Tuscaloosa has intensified a little bit around Highway 69, lifting in towards Oakman. And you can see some rain there around the Jasper area, but notice the storms starting to line up back in here to the west. So we'll have to watch for more of those over the next 60 minutes to work into West Alabama. So just watching the radar, just check the weather app this evening. We're going to see these scattered storms. I think after midnight, the storm threat starts to, at least the severe threat starts to lessen. We're probably going to hear some rumbles through the early morning hours, most likely the southern half of the areas where we could see some of the heaviest of the rain for this evening. And right now, you can scan this code and make sure you download our First Alert weather app. You see that code on the screen. Just open the camera on your mobile device. Great tool to have. It's free. You get lightning, precipitation alerts, and most importantly, you get those warnings. I had someone early this morning message me and said, Wes, I'm in Fayette County and I just received a watch. How can I get warnings? You can get those with the First Alert weather app. And check out another angle of the tornado that moved across Athens, Alabama. We were right here last night tracking these storms and giving you those updates as this all unfolded. We saw multiple tornado warnings, and these storms caused several injuries, and especially Jackson, DeKalb counties and those areas, both Limestone and Madison counties, also reporting tornadoes. And how about some of the damage video? We started getting those pictures in earlier today. This was was left by these tornadoes across Athens and Huntsville. The first video being shared by Rob McBay of the Brigadoon damage that happened early on. And there was also extensive damage to trees and structures, as well as search and rescue teams being out until 5 o'clock this morning. And on top of that, a lot of areas they were responding to storms and tornadoes, and then there were more warnings. So having to kind of keep a watch out for what was developing upstream. But meteorologists from our sister station, WAFF, Brad Travis and team, estimating that at least 5 to 6 tornadoes moved through North Alabama.
Well, headed now to East Alabama, West, where emergency management directors continue to watch the weather closely tonight, like all of us. Our East Alabama reporter Reggie Kyle joins us with an update after speaking to those EMA directors.
That's right, the Gaston Etowah EMA director tells me so far so good after the first round of storms, but they're watching as more storms are expected later on tonight. With the threat of heavy rainfall that could lead to flash flooding, neighbors were warned about driving through flooded roadways. EMA officials in Talladega and St. Clair County tell me no one was injured this morning, but a couple of trees were knocked down. With a second wave of storms expected this evening, Gaston Etowah County EMA Director Derek Murmert says even though the first storms missed, this is not the time to get complacent.
The Gaston Etowah County EMA was activated earlier this morning when the tornado watch was issued by National Weather. And we have had one report of a tree down. Other than that, we've had no structural damages, no injuries or anything like that. We're very thankful for that.
Now those trees were immediately cleaned up. Director Murmert says now is the time to prepare for the second round of storms. Please visit our WBRC First Alert weather app for updates in your area. In Etowah County, Reggie Kyle, WBRC Fox 6 News, on your side.
Middle Tennessee also cleaning up today from yesterday's tornadoes. Check out this new video of a funnel cloud in Clarksville. This is from our sister station, WSMV in Nashville, where several counties had tornado warnings. There was some damage reported in Robertson County, with thousands of people losing power. Meanwhile, the heavy rain have left many areas underwater, forcing roads to close and people to be rescued. And in Maury County, at least one person was killed and more than 100 homes were damaged after yesterday's storms produced deadly tornadoes and flooding. This is also footage from our sister station WSMV, where 40 of those homes were completely destroyed. Parts of Georgia also receiving extensive damage from storms as they moved through yesterday evening. Take a look at this video from our sister station WANF, a video they captured overnight of their Whitfield County in Georgia. An Exxon gas station was badly damaged due to the force of the wind. It ripped apart and twisted the canopy that covered the gas pumps. Thankfully, there were no injury reports, but the damage was severe in the location. And as severe storm continues to move through the southeast, check out this video from Charlotte, North Carolina, of heavy rain causing flooding in the area. The storm even brought down trees and cut traffic light power. And in 30 seconds, we check on radar as well as continue with our discussion on both air quality awareness and hurricane preparedness. They both share the same week. So you got hurricane preparedness and air quality awareness week. But stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, tracking some of that heavy rain and storms now pushing south into Coosa County and Sylacauga right now. We're seeing some of that lightning starting to impact the area, but look at that heavy rain right around Lay Lake, and you can see this storm. It looks like it has a little curl to it right there. We got to watch that in case it tries to rotate. At this point, I'm looking at the rotation tracker, and still looks like some rather weak rotation at this time, but that's just one of many storms. We have a severe storm now that's moving across Pickens County. And the big concern with this storm is going to be large hail damaging wind gusts right now. This is moving towards Tuscaloosa County, though. If we follow along over the next 60 minutes with this severe storm, that's going to be entering Tuscaloosa County. Listen up here, 7:39. So from Fayette to Tuscaloosa, Highway 171 by 7:39, some storm impacts. I know a lot of events, perhaps there's some Little League games planned for this evening. Just make sure you plan accordingly as those storms move to the east. There is a severe thunderstorm watch also in effect until 11 o'clock. Also a severe storm now moving towards northern Sumter County, and that may end up in Greene County. So for our friends here around Utah, let's keep a watch on that. So a lot of storms right now, Tania, that we're tracking. It's going to stay like this for several hours, but we'll have some improvements tomorrow.
We absolutely will, Wes. But now to day 4 of Hurricane Preparedness Week. We've been talking about how hurricanes are formed and how the Saffir-Simpson scale works. But now let's talk about what you should do when a hurricane has been forecasted and is close to your area. Make sure you take the necessary steps to protect your home. This includes, but certainly isn't limited to, covering your windows and securing those doors and any loose items. You can also check in with local officials on which shelters will be provided, especially for those of you who have pets, to make sure they are allowed at available shelters. Be sure to also have multiple sheltering options if at all possible. Next, as meteorologist Matt Daniel mentioned yesterday, it's also important to make sure you have your go bag ready with those essentials such as cash, medicine, phone chargers, and more. And also, be sure to fill up your vehicle if you'll be leaving before the hurricane enters your area. If needed, in the event of evacuation order, and that's put into place, be sure to follow those from local authorities. It's best to not wait for the hurricane to intensify before following, and you should always leave as early as you can. Finally, be sure to stay weather aware and ready, and don't hesitate to help your neighbors, especially the elderly and other vulnerable groups in the event of a disaster.
All right, Tania, and we're continuing our series right now on Air Quality Awareness Week. And today we take a deep dive into some changes that are being made in the way the air quality alerts are issued and the way we look at the thresholds for issuing air quality alerts. Time to time, you will see the First Alert Weather Team sharing air quality alerts, which are based on thresholds associated with the Air Quality Index. And this year, the way in which those alerts are determined will be changing.
So the Air Quality Index, or AQI for short, is a color-coded scale that tells you how good or bad the air quality is on a daily basis. And we use this to inform the public what the air quality is going to be, and our forecasts are based on this.
AQI for short has 6 levels: green, yellow, orange, red, purple, and maroon. We see alerts issued when air quality reaches code orange levels, which means air quality is deemed unhealthy for sensitive groups. Clean Air Act requires the EPA to review the health-based standards for pollutants every 5 years. Recently, they did a review of the fine particulate matter standards for our area and decided to lower the threshold for what's deemed unhealthy from 12 micrograms per cubic meter to 9 micrograms per cubic meter.
Is that it's going to be a little bit harder for us to meet that standard. Right now we're sitting probably right around where the standard currently is, and our goal is to make sure that we get under that standard once it becomes finalized here in the next year. So what's going to happen with us initially is that's going to change the air quality index scale a little bit for PM2.5. Essentially what it's going to do is it expands the yellow range, which means we might see an increase in the amount of yellow days. Now, while we might have an increase in the amount of yellow days versus green days, in which air quality is good, that doesn't mean necessarily the air quality is getting worse.
So, what can we do to help improve air quality in our area?
Traffic is becoming more and more of a central figure in our air pollution issues. Because over the last several decades, the industrial facilities have cut back their emissions significantly, and the traffic in the area is actually contributing more and more to the overall percentage of our air pollution.
Matt says we can help curb this issue by carpooling to school or work, taking care of errands in one trip, or refraining from engine idling.
So, maybe don't use a drive-through, go park in a spot, turn off the key to your car and go inside, grab the food. I found that myself a lot quicker a lot of times versus sitting in the drive-through line.
Matt also suggests avoiding gas-powered lawn equipment and refueling your vehicle after dusk. For more information on the Air Quality Index, you can visit alabamacleanair.org.
I'm WPRC Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on your side.
And we're on your side tracking thunderstorms as we continue. We'll have the full 7-day forecast and more updated storm tracks. New severe thunderstorm warning includes we've got Lamar, Pickens, now Greene County. Some active weather. Stay with us. Welcome back in the First Alert Weather Extra, and at this time we've got severe storms moving into Pickens County. Here's a live look from Reform. It's 87 degrees, and be alert for that threat of lightning, damaging wind gust. Also could have some quarter-size hailstones. Watching storms here. Also want to go to another camera view that we have. We'll see if Tania can bring that up for us. We had a view from our tower camera. Well, looks like we might have lost the feed there. There we go. North of town, I was seeing a storm that's developing back in Walker County, but we're starting to see that view there back off to the north of town and also into Oak Grove. Seeing some storms developing in here. There's some lightning being detected near Sylacauga. So in these areas here, you want to stay indoors at this time. Let's go to radar view here. Tania's on the radar controls, and let's turn on the warnings, Tania. At this time, we've got the watches and the warnings. A severe thunderstorm watch through 11 o'clock this evening, but a couple of new warnings. There's Pickens County as we go in for a closer view, and you can see the warnings there. And put a time on this, Tania, so we can see the actual expiration time. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So we're right now over Reform, and there we go, 7 o'clock on that warning polygon. I thought it was 7 o'clock, but that's when this severe thunderstorm warning will expire. That's moving to the east towards Tuscaloosa County. So first alert, if this holds together, some heavy rain. Certainly going to get some lightning out of this as it moves on to the east. Let's go to this storm to the south. This new severe thunderstorm warning, that does include actually southern Pickens County. I just noticed as we zoom in, that's until 7:30. So you're probably getting those alerts on your First Alert Weather app that we have severe thunderstorm warning. Mostly what we're seeing here and we're most concerned about, damaging wind gust, hail, not seeing indications of strong rotation at this time. If we go to the big picture here and bring up our rotation tracker and just take a look at that, it's mostly what we're seeing right now is heavy rainfall, some large hail, and also we're seeing some intense lightning. Let me actually go to the radar controls here so we can pull up this data. I want to show you the rotation tracker, and right there, let me see if I can bring up this source so you can see into Shelby County at this time. There's one area seeing a little bit of weak rotation with that storm, but you can see the storms are not going to that next level. So that's the good thing here. We're not seeing a lot of spin. It's mostly just some gusty straight line winds, some locally heavy rainfall. So watching the forecast here through tonight into the early morning hours, the rain chances there will be tapering off early in the day. I think the greatest risk for us for severe weather is going to be this evening. After midnight, we'll see that severe weather threat starting to push more down into South Alabama. We've got some sunny weather coming back just in time for Mother's Day weekend next week. We have a first alert for some stormy weather coming back. Looks like around Tuesday we'll see that greater chance for strong to severe storms. But I want to go back to meteorologist Tania Michelle. I know, Tania, you are also monitoring some of the communication there as we see we're watching some more storms move in from the west, and it looks like it's still kind of unstable there. Very hot, very humid West Alabama. That's going to keep these storms going for several more hours.
Yeah, Wes, we got to stay on it for the rest of the evening tonight. So let's zoom in back here to get a better look at these severe storms that are moving into West Alabama. We were just talking about this, and it looks like a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the southern parts of Lamar County too. This doesn't expire until 7:30 p.m. Some heavy rain moving through the city of Millport. So if you have family and friends in that area, or if you're in that area, please get off those roads. It's going to be a messy commute. We do not want you out and about in this. Frequent lightning strikes in this area as well. And this also includes North Pickens County over towards the city of Reform, like Wes was just mentioning. And there could be some hail within this. As we look here, we're getting some indications that we could see hail of close to maybe an inch, over an inch in size. So just giving you that first alert. There could be some hail damage. We'll see if there's any reports. And if you are seeing anything, please send in your photos to the WBRC First Alert Weather app. Looks like we have some indication of rotation with this storm, Wes. We just have some of our markers are popping up here. Let's go look. Okay, we're going to take this off so I can get a better zoom in closer here.
Is that from the Columbus radar site?
Oh, that's right. Let me move the radar
make sure
site.
you're looking at Columbus.
Okay, there we go, because I was getting a little nervous. There's some weak rotation there, some broad rotation, so that's some good news for us. Woo, because I was getting a little nervous for a second, guys. Okay, so let's zoom back out here and reset the picture. And I'll just show you that moving further down south central Alabama, southwest central Alabama, that other severe storm in Sumter County, including parts of Greene County too. I'm going to zoom in to get a better look of this. This is over towards the city of Utah, heading towards that area, North Greene County. So if you're in that area, please limit your time on those roads. So looking at the big picture, we're going to continue to keep our eye on this over the next several hours.
Tania, I just want to jump in here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing something. Let me jump in here with you on the controls, because you brought up a good point. I have seen this before, and this is kind of interesting. Yeah, right here, if we go, let's go back to the Columbus radar site. Looks like we're seeing some very strong winds. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's developing. Let's keep an eye on this, because sometimes you can get what's called a derecho, where you end up with these long swaths of heavy wind damage. And you know, with a setup like this, you know, the way that's kind of bowing out right there, it looks like we've certainly got some strong winds with this storm as it moves into Pickens County. So folks there around Gordo and Reform, that's a strong signature that we've got some damaging wind gusts.
And that's also areas north of Carrollton and Pickens County too, near Highway 82. Mm-hmm. So giving you that first alert. alert. Get off those roadways. That heavy rainfall moving through that area and those strong winds as well. But Wes, we're talking more about other damage across the country. A Nebraska woman is dealing with an ear injury brought on by a tornado that passed over her home. It's a condition called barotrauma. It can happen with a sudden change in air or water pressure and causes symptoms like pain, ringing in the ears, and sensitivity to sound. Maudley Hudson reports.
I was standing here watching as the tornado was going right past.
Lindsay Pittman, her husband, and their 3 kids quickly went to the basement. In what Lindsay says felt like 2 to 3 minutes, the tornado went over and past their house.
It was a very overwhelming feeling from all of the senses. The first things that I said as it was passing over us was my ears. My ears hurt so badly.
Something we've heard from several neighbors.
A sudden decompression when the tornado must have been over us because both our ears popped.
Because my ears started to pop, and I guess when you're in the tornado, like that's when your ears are popping.
The way I've been describing it is it felt like you were up in an airplane, air pressure wise, and also like 18 feet below the water at the same time.
And in the days since, she's experienced pain, pressure, ringing, and amplification of sounds. According to the Cleveland Clinic, this is barotrauma. It can happen with a sudden change in air or water pressure. The Mayo Clinic describes it as airplane ear, when air pressure in the middle ear and the air pressure in the environment don't match, preventing your eardrum from vibrating normally.
Like a clanking on a glass, or my kids accidentally putting their fork down too loudly, and it's like little tiny sounds like that are just extremely bothersome to me right now.
Now she wears earplugs to block out some of the sound, something her doctor recommended she continue to do until the condition heals naturally.
And according to the Mayo Clinic, the condition usually responds to self-care, and long-term complications are rare. That's good news. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more First Alert Weather Extra and still tracking storms across central Alabama. Stay with us. We'll be right back.